In the heart of Paris, the disappearance of renowned painter Elise Dubois sent ripples through the art world. Known for her captivating portraits that seemed to capture the very soul of her subjects, Elise's sudden vanishing act was as mysterious as it was alarming. Detective Laurent Girard, a seasoned officer with a keen interest in art, was assigned to the case. The first clue was in Elise's studio, a grand, high-ceilinged room splattered with a kaleidoscope of paints. In the center stood an easel, holding the last painting Elise worked on before she disappeared. It was a portrait, but unlike any Laurent had ever seen. The subject's eyes, a deep shade of azure, seemed to follow him around the room, imbued with an almost supernatural quality. The woman in the painting was unknown, her features striking yet ethereal, as if she belonged to another world. Laurent began to comb through Elise's life. Interviews with friends and colleagues painted the picture of a passionate, albeit reclusive artist. No known enemies, no financial troubles, and no signs of a struggle in her studio. The detective's next stop was the art historian, Professor Madeleine Boucher, an expert in classical and modern art. Madeleine examined the painting with an expert eye. "There's something peculiar about the brushwork and the colors," she said thoughtfully. "It's as if she was trying to communicate through this painting." Laurent's investigation led him to delve deeper into Elise's past works. He noticed a pattern. Each of her subjects had a distinct, almost haunting, gaze. It was as if Elise had a unique ability to capture more than just the physical likeness of her subjects. Weeks passed with no breakthrough. Then, a twist came. A letter arrived at the police station, addressed to Laurent. It was from Elise, postmarked 3 days after she was last seen. In it, she spoke of a secret she had uncovered, something ancient and powerful connected to her art. Laurent and Madeleine visited Elise's studio once more, scrutinizing every brushstroke of the mysterious portrait. Hidden in the intricate patterns of the background, they discovered faint symbols, almost invisible to the naked eye. With Madeleine's expertise, they deciphered the symbols as coordinates, leading to an old abandoned house on the outskirts of Paris. The duo arrived at the dilapidated structure as dusk settled. The house, shrouded in overgrown ivy, had an eerie aura. Inside, they found a studio that seemed to mirror Elise's, complete with unfinished paintings. Each canvas was a portrait, similar in style to Elise's last painting. As they moved through the room, they noticed that the eyes of every portrait seemed to be watching them. In the corner of the room, they found a journal, Elise's journal. The pages were filled with frantic entries about a vision that haunted her. She wrote of an ancestral spirit that guided her hand, compelling her to paint the portrait that was now in her studio. The entries became increasingly erratic, with Elise mentioning a ritual that would unleash the true power of the spirit within the canvas. The final entry was the most chilling. It detailed her plan to become one with her art, transcending the physical world. Laurent and Madeleine exchanged a look of horror. Could Elise have attempted some supernatural ritual? They turned their attention back to the studio. Amidst the clutter, they found a hidden door leading to a small, dark chamber. The chamber was empty, save for a single covered canvas. With trepidation, Laurent removed the cover, revealing the final piece of the puzzle. It was a self-portrait of Elise, her eyes closed, as if in eternal slumber. But there was something unsettling about it. The portrait exuded a palpable energy. As they studied the self-portrait, the room grew colder. The eyes of the portraits in the adjoining studio seemed to glow faintly. Laurent and Madeleine felt a presence, an unseen force that filled the air with an electric charge. Suddenly, the eyes of Elise in the self-portrait snapped open. They were the same deep azure as the woman in her last known painting. A voice, ethereal and haunting, filled the room. "You have freed me," it whispered. Laurent and Madeleine backed away in shock. The portraits around them began to change, their subjects' expressions turning to relief, as if a weight had been lifted from them. The spirit of Elise, now released from her self-imposed imprisonment, faded into the ether, leaving behind her physical form. In the aftermath, Laurent and Madeleine could only speculate about what had truly happened. Elise's body was never found, and the portraits in the abandoned house were now devoid of the haunting presence. The case of Elise Dubois, the vanishing artist, remained unsolved, shrouded in mystery and supernatural speculation. But for Laurent, the case was not entirely closed. He often found himself drawn back to her studio, to the haunting portrait with the azure eyes. And sometimes, late at night, he could swear he felt the gaze of Elise following him, a silent guardian watching over the world she left behind. To be continued.